everyone, and welcome to my little corner. In this video, I want to talk about The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. This book is the sequel to Once Upon a Broken Heart. I loved this book. I loved Caraval, I loved Once Upon a Broken Heart, and once again, Stephanie did it again. She writes the most magical and enchanting stories and worlds that I wish I could live forever inside the pages of this book. So actually, I completely forgot everything from the first book. I am those people that I read and immediately forget as soon as I move on to the next book. So I just settled for rereading the last 30-20 pages of the first book just to find out what happened at the end. So that was enough to situate me to get started on this one. So The Ballad of Never After picks up right after the ending of the first book, and this book actually starts with a letter from Evangeline to herself saying to not trust Jax, to not fall for his lies, blah blah blah. She's still all too trusting, so who is she kidding? So the focus of this book is on the Valerie Arch. I thought it was kind of weird how in the first book there was all of a sudden this whole vampire thing, but then I was like, okay, Chaos is one of the fates and he's a vampire, so okay, cool, I'll take it. But this book is heavy on vampires just because Chaos is basically a main character in this book. Also, like I said, Luke was turned into a vampire in the first book and he comes back, and when he shows up again as I forgot what he was already. He was like the prince, the heir, he was gonna take over the throne or something. When he showed up, I was like, oh no, this is gonna be messy, he's gonna start killing everybody. But actually, he was chill. I thought that Luke showing up as a vampire was gonna be like this really big important thing to the plot of the book. It was gonna turn everything upside down, but no, he actually turned out not to be too important to the plot. He would just show up here and there, and he was just so chill the whole time. So anyway, the main plot of the book, Chaos wants to open the Valerie Arc because remember that he has a face mask helmet thing on his face, and he believes that whatever is inside the Valerie Arc can help him remove the mask. And he needs Evangeline to open the Arc because she's a key. So Evangeline actually has this power that she can open anything. They need her to open the Arc, but turns out that you need 4 stones to open the Arc. It's not just like a key thing. So Evangeline is also going to be helpful in finding the stones because as a key, she can actually feel the power of the stones more intensely than everybody else. So there's 4 stones, they all have different powers. There's luck, youth, mirth, and forgot the other one. So that's basically the main plot of the book, is them looking for the stones to open the arch. And of course we have more curses in this book. It's almost like a fairy tale curse of the archer and the fox, where there was a curse that was put on the archer and that made him want to hunt and kill the fox. So another thing from the first book is that Evangeline married Apollo, and that curse was put on Apollo. So now Apollo, her husband, wants to kill her. This curse this time has a twist. They also put a mirror curse on both of them, so if one of them gets hurt, the other one also gets hurt. And I really love and hate Jax. I just wish that he and Evangeline would just end up together and that they would just tell each other their feelings. But at the same time, I understand, because if Jax kisses Evangeline, he will kill her. Although, we are reminded in this book quite a few times that not all fairy tales have a happy ending, especially ballads do not have a happy ending, which is the name of the book. We also get a lot of history and family trees of the first people with powers, the people who created the Valerie Arch, the Valors, and there's a whole bunch of like hive families. So it's a lot of information, it's a lot of names. Honestly, it was hard to keep track of all the names. I feel like I needed like a whole map with an actual map and names of the family trees. It was a lot. But that ending, I swear to you, I could not process the ending of this book. I have so many questions. All of this video so far was basically me kind of telling you the plot of the book. So from here on out, a warning, now these are spoilers, okay? Because I want to discuss the ending of the book. Also, if you have read the book, please put in the comments down below what you thought. What are your thoughts right now? What are you thinking? Because I'm all over the place. They get the stones, they open the arch, and there's two stories as what could be inside of the arch. So either it's a prison and it contains a monster, or there's a treasure inside. And we don't know. Nobody knows what's inside. So they get inside, and the Valors, the family Valors, are inside the arch all this time. How is this possible? And then Chaos does get his mask removed, but then he bites Evangeline and kills her. I think it's completely insane. But it gets worse. We get a page that says the end, but it's not the end because there's more. I have a theory about that, but I'll talk about it soon. So Jax didn't even want to open the arch. He just wanted the stones. And it turns out that if you put the stones together, you know, a big thing was going to happen. And the whole time I was thinking, you know, something big, you know, like if you put the stones together, there's probably going to be like a huge explosion and everyone is going to die, something like that. That was what's going on in my head. And then at the end, when they actually reveal what happens if you put the stones together, it was a little like underwhelming, but also relieved that, okay, the world is not going to be destroyed with the stones. So if you put the stones together, what happens is one time you can go back in time to wherever you want to go, but you can just use that power one time. Jax just want to go back in time to Donatella because he's still not over it, because Donatella is the only person that did not die with this kiss, and he believes she's his true love, but she chose another one, and he's still stuck with that. So he wants to go back in time for Donatella, but Evangeline just died. So this is an emergency. He uses the stones to go back in time to just before Chaos kills her. So then we get deja vu pages because it goes back in time and everything is happening exactly the same, like just before they go to the opening the arch. But this time what changes is that Jax is actually there because he wasn't there the first time. So this time he's there and he stops Evangeline from going inside of the arch. And by the way, the only reason why Evangeline even agreed to help them open the arch was because of the whole curse of the Archer and the Fox curse that was put on Apollo, and then the mirror curse on top of it. Okay, whatever's inside, if it can remove Chaos's helmet, then it's gonna also remove this curse that was put on us, right? So she's like, okay, let's do it. And it did. So one of the Valors inside had the power to remove the curse, remove the helmet, remove the curse on Apollo and Evangeline. But then what happens? Apollo shows up and he has powers. And he raises Evangeline's memories. We are reading her memories being erased. Like one by one, they're being erased. Like everything. She doesn't remember anything. She doesn't remember anything that happened. She doesn't remember Jax. I was very distressed reading the ending. Very distressed, even just talking about this. And then when she wakes up again, she doesn't know where she is. And then a guy shows up. She doesn't know who he is. We're just assuming that's Apollo now that shows up and says, I'm your husband. So he erases all of her memories and now wants to be her husband still. I don't know why. I don't know why he did that. Why? Just so that she forgets Jax and falls in love with Apollo? Is that what this is about? Why did he do this? She's gotta be able to remember again, and there's gotta be a third book. There's so many loose threads. Everything is out in the open. There is literally no closure anywhere in this book. So there is no way that this is the ending. There's gotta be a third book at least. Okay, I don't know. Maybe this is gonna be a longer series. Maybe it's just gonna be a trilogy. But there's gotta be another one because there's so many questions in the open, things that need to be answered. After I finished reading the book and I was trying to process all of this information, what I just read, I Googled, actually, I was trying to Google some information about Apollo, like who is Apollo, what's going on, and I found a Reddit thread that had some very interesting and brilliant theories that I want to bring up and I want to tell you because it's brilliant. Like, people are genius. There's no way I would even like figure this out on my own just because this required information from 200 pages ago that was already like out of my brain. So what I found out on that Reddit thread, okay, I'm actually like, I have my notes here just so I don't get this wrong. So someone, whoever wrote this, said that Apollo is actually Lysander Valor. So like I said, like 200 pages ago, when they were doing like the whole family tree and talking about the history and the Valors, they had the names of everybody and everyone has like gifts. So Lysander has a gift that involves memories. We also found out at the end that Chaos is actually Castor Valor, another like shocking twist. And he was the monster that the Valors created. So as you remember, one of the stories of what could potentially be inside of the Ark was it could be a prison with a monster inside. Turns out that the monster that the Valors created was Chaos, who is one of the Valors. So many plot twists. And also another theory that Apollo / Lysander, because he has this power, he could also be behind the whole no one remembering anything in the North. Like all of the stories, all of the history, nobody is able to remember things, and he might be behind this. So now I have also more questions. Jax knew the Valors, right? It is said that Jax is very old. He was from that time. He knows all those families. He should have known, I'm sure, I don't know, but I feel like if he knew all those families and if he knew the Valors, he should have recognized, and he knew all this time, that Chaos was Castor. And if so, then he would also know that Apollo is Lysander, and he would also know that he has that power. And how come he didn't do anything about it? Like, he didn't seem worried at all about him. Like, we all thought that Apollo was just a regular human with no powers. If you have any answers, if you have more questions, put everything in the comments, because I feel like I just need to discuss this. And the final thing I want to say is my theory of the page that says the end. So, like I said, we were reminded all this time that ballads don't end in happy endings, but then we get a page, like she dies, right? And then we get the end, but then the story continues. So my theory is, what if that the end page was the end of the ballad? You know? So the ballad did not get a happy ending, but the story continues. So now there's actually potential for a happy ending because the ballad is over. I don't even know if this makes sense. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but that's just my theory. And that is everything that I wanted to discuss. Just because I feel like I'm still processing everything. Just because I cannot accept what happened. So let me know in the comments what you thought of the book, all of your theories, everything. I want to know. Please discuss with me. I need someone to talk to about the book. And yeah, like I said, I love the book. 5 stars for me. Loved it. Can't wait for the 3rd book. And yeah, this is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and make sure to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.